the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
The day before the pre-show meeting, it just kind of happened, and there you go. Let's just do it. Let's not take ourselves too seriously, and if that's what he wants us to do, let's have fun with it.
I love it. I would be mistaken if I did not ask you about the Denver Broncos, Todd Fritz. So disappointing for sure.
Tough 8 years.
Hey, but you got a ring. Payton did pretty well for you guys.
It just feels like 8 years ago. That Super Bowl against the Panthers feels like 20 years ago. And I watch every game from Connecticut, and I'm tuning in, and I've gone to a few games, and just seeing what they've become in the carousel of quarterbacks, and always seeing those graphics every time Denver's on TV where they remind you about 19, 20, 21 different quarterbacks or whatever over the last few years, and just the disaster of watching them punt so much and have such a tough time just getting a first down or getting across midfield. Anytime they do something remotely good, there's usually a penalty and it gets called back. And they're in the division with the Chiefs, with this dynasty that's beat Denver like 16 of the last 17 times they played them. I'm from the generation of even before Elway, when the Broncos, they were in Super Bowl 12 against the Cowboys with Craig Morton, who was the initial number 7 before there was Elway. But we got spoiled, all those AFC West titles and Elway and fourth quarter comebacks and Manning and scoring 30 plus points a game. All of a sudden you see yourself in last place, and we're just kind of muddling around with the Raiders and Chargers. One team's got one win more than the other, and the Chiefs are just embarrassing our team and the division and the conference to a certain extent. They just keep going back there, and we don't know what's going to happen with Russell Wilson. You see these little arguments with him and Sean Payton on the sidelines, and unless they let him scramble around, and he's no spring chicken, the only time they were doing anything remotely positive offensively is when he would scramble and either run for a first down or buy some time until someone got open. When he stands there in the pocket, he would constantly get sacked. Garrett Bowles would get called for holding. It was just a very, very frustrating thing to watch these last couple of years. This past season, a little better offensively, but the amount of punting and what used to be a team that would score so many points and be a team you did not want to play in Denver, is that mile high mystique is gone. That no one's afraid to go to play them in Denver anymore, and that's a shame. That used to be a place where it was almost a guaranteed win no matter who they're playing. And 8 years ago, again, it seems like only 8 years ago, but it seems like so long ago that this team was knocking off Tom Brady and the Patriots and getting deep into the playoffs and getting to Super Bowls. And I hope they turn it around soon. The Chiefs aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The Chargers are going to get better and figure it out with Harbaugh probably, and Justin Herbert's great. And the Raiders got Antonio Pierce. He may figure out a way to turn things around. He's a player's coach. They're going to play hard for him. And so how long can we deal with 5-12 and 6-11? Even if you average, even if you win 7, 8, 9 games, where does that leave you draft wise? I'm not saying tank, but that doesn't get you anywhere. If you don't get into the playoffs, then what is 6, 7, 8 wins get you besides not a very good spot in the NFL draft? So it's disheartening. I still love my Broncos, but it just feels like they are a ways away from turning it around. So
what do you want them to do at quarterback though? Because it seems like the Russ marriage is over. So
yeah, I don't know all the terms with as far as the it's above my pay grade to know.
But do you want to go court? Do you want to go draft? Do you want to trade? Do you want?
I think they gotta look at all those things. I like Russell Wilson as a person, and I was very excited when they got him. There was rumors initially that Aaron Rodgers may go to Denver, and then once it was Russell Wilson, then Sean Payton's the coach. I got a little too excited probably. Whoa, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. We're gonna go back to the Dan Reeves, John Elway days or whatever. And Mike Shanahan Elway days. This is gonna be great. But they need to do something. Russell obviously isn't the long-term answer, and I'm still, I try to. You read the blogs, and I don't have any inside information as far as what they're going to do with him. I expect he'll probably be the week 1 starter, but who knows? But they have to look at trades. They have to decide if they can move up in the draft somehow. You don't want to give up too much either. I like their young receivers, and they have, Surtain, and they have some elements in place, but they gave up so much and with that contract, and it just didn't live up to expectations. I feel like it's going to be a while. And then you look at the Bills and you look at the Ravens, and you could there's just a number of teams that are a lot better than them right now. So it's not even about, even if they were to jump the Chiefs or catch them, look at it's a stack. The Dolphins have gotten better. The Bengals, without Burrow, are hanging in there. The Browns have gotten better. The Texans with Stroud, there's a whole bunch of teams and quarterbacks that are as good, if not better than Denver. So it's hard to get your hopes up in the near future that all of a sudden they're going to be back to the top of the division like they used to be.
Final thing, and I'll get you out of here, Todd.
Yeah.
The most surprising Todd Fritz fact that would, for Dan Patrick Show fans, would be what? What's the most surprising fact about you?
The most surprising fact is that I can be very quiet. Like
Okay.
Yeah, that's I know we already stated that, but I like to think that what you see is what you get on the show. That I'm kind of an open book. I've told all kinds of stories, some of which I probably should have kept private, and they keep coming back and getting teased by it. But I'm an oversharer. I'm a hugger. When I see people, I like to make them feel very comfortable and welcome. I was brought up that way. I just like to embrace everybody when we're on the road and we get a chance to meet people at the Super Bowl or different events. I just, it's really nice, and people seem to like that and can relate to that, or embrace that happy, positive kind of feeling. But when all said and done, and when the lights are off and the mic's not in front of me,
nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.